Hi there. This week we're talking to Tommy Stinson. Tommy Stinson, I've known for about 15 years. He has made a couple of really great solo records. He has his own really great band called Bash and Pop. Played with Guns N' Roses for a long while and was the bass player in one of the greatest rock and roll bands of all time, in my opinion, The Replacements. Tommy and I have played music quite a bit together over the years, and it was through Tommy that myself and my brothers in UMI were able to go over to London a few years ago and support The Replacements on what happened to be, I think, their last couple of shows that they did. Tommy was also supposed to be coming out to Australia earlier this year until 2020 got in the way, and we all know what happened there. So, but that's something that we'll be looking towards rescheduling sometime in the new year. As the legendary music producer Jim Dickinson said, people say that Keith Richards is the living embodiment of rock and roll. I'm sorry, but I know Keith, and it's Tommy Stinson. And who am I to argue? So, without further ado, let's chat to Tommy.
Hey, Palio.
Hello.
How are you, love? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm good. Can you hear Tommy? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Let me,
we got a little bit of traffic out the window here, but how are you, man?
I'm good. I'm good. All the better for seeing your fucking face. How are you keeping?
Yeah, it's weird, man.
Yeah.
I played a show last Saturday night or Saturday afternoon outside someone's backyard, and everyone's social distancing and wearing masks and all that stuff. It was weird.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you know, everyone that was there really just needed to be outside. It was a beautiful day, beautiful fall day in New Jersey, and everyone just kind of needs a break, you know. And so,
fucking oath,
you know, I go in gritting my teeth a little bit, but it's you know, because you're like, jeez, am I gonna get someone sick here or get myself sick being here? And you kind of go, hope not. We all just be smart about it, you know. And
exactly.
Hopefully everything goes well.
Is that the first time you played a show in a long?
No, I did another one about a month ago in Buffalo, New York.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it was fine. You know, it was fine, but and no one got sick. That was the good, you know, part of that. We was outside. Everyone was being smart, social distancing, and all of that.
Yeah. Have you still got like a little home recording set up?
You know what? When I moved out of my house, I got an apartment and a different space for my studio because I wanted to work separately from where I lived.
Right.
That was the whole plan, and it's so far it's working so well that I don't even go play music anymore. I really make myself. No, I'm kidding. I mean, aside from COVID, it is good for me to have a studio that's not where I live because it so many distractions in the house sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm lucky enough to be able to afford a cool studio spot where I can produce other bands and that kind of thing, and they're not in my house.
Yeah.
You know, bands are stinky. You know?
Yeah, so you find it works much better if you've got somewhere to kind of clock on and get to work. And
so sometimes you just kind of have to make yourself. I mean,
yeah.
I've had times where I've just made myself I've had to make myself write at least a song a week and perform it at open mic night down the street.
Oh, great.
Because I I did that for a while, a couple of years back, because I was like, I hadn't written in a while, and I was really getting kind of down about it. And I just said, okay, I've got to write one thing a week, finish lyrics, everything, and I got to perform it. And I did that, and I got half that Bash and Pop record out of that. I mean, the new one. I'm about to probably have to kick my ass again and do something like that to do it. But it's like, again, my mind says it's hard to get around if I can't go play shows. It's like I get in the mindset of like, well, why bother and all that stuff. But ultimately, it comes down to, well, there are people out there that actually need music and want music to get them through their day, and I guess that's our job. Our job, absolutely, to really help people is what we can do with that.
And I think a lot of people are looking to. Obviously, playing a show on fucking Zoom or Instagram doesn't quite cut it, but people are still voraciously, have an appetite for music, and that's never going to change. But nothing will beat getting to go out and play a fucking show.
Here's the thing, I've been talking to our buddy Jesse Mallon and a couple of my other pals, yourself included, about this, and like, it is hard to contemplate the idea of doing a streaming show where you're pretending to put on a show with no audience, right? So it's like, I can't really fake that. I'm not an actor, nothing. So, and I'm not saying any of my friends that are doing well. A few of my friends, or a few of our peers, are doing really well with this. Not to say that they're actors or anything like that. It's just I can't figure out how to get myself into the mindset of putting on a show without an audience. And I've been watching stuff. I've been kicking myself, going, "Hey, I got to do this at some point, because this is what's kind of." For a while, this could be kind of our norm, and as troubling as that is, right? As an idea, people keep telling me, dude, you should do it. You got to find a way to do it. So I'm thinking of a variety show.
Right.
Yeah, something more off the, where I'm not just sitting there pretending to play a show in front of an audience where there's no audience.
Yeah.
Maybe doing some kooky bits where I'm like, I don't know, maybe go check out some place that they played, 100 years ago, whatever, back in the 1900s.
You're a good raconteur. You've got a fucking million stories in your back pocket.
Yeah, and so I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do this and how I'm going to make it interesting and fun for me, because I don't, ultimately, I can sit here and play a song right now, and it's not the same thing as if there's an audience in front of me. Same as you, I'm sure. That we all know this. All of us performers know this, but I'm having a real hard time getting around it. That idea of, this is going to be it for a while, and how you go around it, how you make it interesting for yourself, might be your savior. As a musician, as a performer. So,
absolutely.
What do you thought in that?
I've tried. I actually did a live stream show with my band a couple of months ago, and that was along the same lines. Incredibly weird. It was fucking fun to get in a room and play with other actual live human beings again after a long time, But to have this thing of like, it was a full band show, but to try and sort of contrive this like rock and roll show when you're just playing to a fucking camera is very like, it's like making a video clip where you've got fucking Stanley Kubrick on the other side of the camera going, okay, rock out for me.
That's the funny thing. It's like you can look back at the beginning of my career. Wasn't really good at making videos.
Right.
The replacements weren't so much good at that. What else you got? You got your microphone, your hoop poster, your guitars.
I
think I played a couple of those guitars.
Actually, I got my. Actually, this one I just got restored.
Oh yeah.
This is my. I think you've played this before. This is my Brian May.
Oh yeah, your Brian May model.
And in the time that you've played it, I've had it signed by the man himself.
Brian May.
You've hung out with him before, haven't you?
Yeah, he's a really sweet dude. He is like, of all the people I've met and stuff, guitar players or singers or whatever. He's a real sweetheart of a man. Really great. And couldn't be more gracious. And then what a great player.
Fucking oath.
I'll just tell you one funny bit. He came into the studio when I was playing with Guns N' Roses years ago, obviously. When he came in the studio to play on this song, the one is called Riyadh and the Bedouins, that I kind of penned, and he came in to play on it, and he had a wall of Vox amps that they sent him to pick the one that sounds the best, and he found one that sounded the best, which I ended up taking. Nice. But here's the funny bit. So he's like, trying to learn this song, and the talk back, like, he's like, Tommy, what are these fucking jazz chords? I was like, I'll come show them to you. So I go out there, and he hands me the guitar, and I'm like,
so he's handed you the guitar.
It's funny. It was a funny bit, really funny. But I showed him the chords, and he's like, "What are these fucking jazz chords?" pretty on par.
When I met him, it was after he'd done a Queen show out here a few years ago, and it was actually through a friend of mine who restored that original guitar that you played a few years ago, and he's from Sydney, and he it was through him that he told Brian that I built this this fucking nerdy guitar player from Melbourne has built a replica of his guitar, and can he show it to you? So ended up going back after the show with my guitar and met him, and he was like fucking just such a lovely, as you say, such a gracious guy. I think he must have had distant family relatives in Melbourne, because they were because he said as much, but he had there were 4 or 5 kids that were just picking up fruit in his dressing room and just chucking it at the wall, and you could just see him about to have an anxiety attack.
What are you motherfuckers doing?
Yeah. And I after 5 minutes or so, it's I'm very aware of not taking up too much of someone else's time, especially fucking Brian May's time. So I said, thank you so much for your time, Brian. And in the meantime, there's someone's picked up a fucking banana, and there's fucking banana peel all over the wall. And I said, thanks so much for your time, Brian. But I'll leave you now. I'll let you go, but appreciate it. But he grabbed my arm and he goes, no, please don't go. Would you like a glass of wine?
We've got an apple for your head.
Yeah.
Been saving this one all day for you.
Have you been listening to any new music or anything? Any new bands that you've been?
Actually, I got a couple people that I have checked out, and I'll tell you one of them right now. I really like his stuff. Jerry Leger, Leger. He's from Canada.
Okay.
Jerry Leger. Really good. He has a song that's a friend of mine just sent me an email, or someone sent me a text of his song and said, hey, check this guy out. And I'm like, oh, cool. I like him a lot. And I started corresponding with him on the old interwebs. And sweet kid, really, nice, great songs, great voice and stuff. right in, you know, my wheelhouse of music, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah, but yeah, check him out.
There's this. I've been speaking of Canadian bands. There's a band that I've been listening to called what are they called? They're called Crack Cloud, and they kind of they're really good. It does verge towards the arty side on occasion, but they kind of remind me a lot of like early kind of XTC or something like that. They really. That's
funny. Did you say XTC?
Yeah.
You know what's just cracking me up right now that you're saying that is I've had Peter Pumpkinhead on my fucking brain for like a month now.
Yeah,
I wake up to it. Peter Pumpkinhead. And I was like, for a month I can't get this fucking song out of my head. And I don't know why. Been watching too much news. That's what's happening.
Well, that's exactly what that's about.
The math on that, right?
Fucking right. Yeah. I do have this for you.
Who?
I bought one of these the other day.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, did you buy the big fat one?
The big fat one.
You should have just told me you wanted one. I would have sent you one.
Well, for when the next one comes out, I was going to ask, like, because the Don't Tell a Soul one came out last year, was it?
Yeah.
And so that'll be something that'll kind of roll on, with other records.
I'm still waiting for the check to clear, but just kidding. No, I think they did a really good job of them. I'll be honest with you. I don't listen to that. I don't listen to them. I get involved in the part of the organizing of like putting them together and stuff like that, and talking about the different bits and pieces that are sitting around that we can utilize for these box sets and stuff like that. But I don't really get in. I don't listen to the stuff and the music so much. I just kind of go, if you think that's going to be good, I trust you, Bob Mayer.
Absolutely.
That's kind of what it comes down to. It's like kind of trusting Bob's judgment, or Peter Jesperson, really.
Yeah.
Those two guys, and my manager, John Kastner. But it's one of those things, man. It's like I can't listen to that shit.
Totally. Yeah. Well, you don't strike me as a overly nostalgic person. You're always kind of looking towards whatever the next thing is, and
what's next?
Yeah, but the real revelation on this for me was there's like 3 or 4 of your songs on there that no one's ever heard before, and they're all fucking great.
Well, thank you. I was a young kid trying to fucking find my way.
You seem to have a pretty fully formed idea of what you were like. The songs on that kind of, like for what you started doing with Bash and Pop a few years later. It seemed you kind of had seemed to have already started to form your vision of what you wanted to do. Yeah, like we do. It was, there's a process in it, always. I was the youngest kid. I was the youngest one in the band. Yeah.
7 years younger than all of them.
Yeah.
And, had my own ideas about what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And eventually did. And still doing, if I can get a fucking break here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. That's good. Good one.
All right,
brother. It's great talking to you.
You too, mate.
Hey, we'll aim for something in the spring, yeah?
Absolutely. As soon as
we'll put something together. This at some point they're gonna figure this out, right?
Yeah.
And we'll get back to work and do our thing. But it'd be great to come over and see it and hang out.
Yeah. Well, as soon as we find out there's a window there, we'll start planning.
Very cool, man.
Awesome.
Very cool. Have a great rest of your day, brother. I love you. I'll talk to you soon, all right?
See you, Tommy.
Yeah, man.
Bye.
I don't want to say it today.